Good morning. We're going to start the day off right with a vigorous, energizing morning yoga flow. I am filming here in Nicaragua, and it is a very windy morning. So we're gonna go for it anyway. So we'll see if my yoga mat starts to blow away. We're gonna start standing. We'll do a short neck and shoulder warm up before we move right into 10 sun salutes to get our blood pumping and to get our energy raised. So come into a standing position at the front of your mat. Bring your hands to your heart and find your alignment here, a neutral pelvis, shoulders rolled away from your ears. Spread your toes wide, engage through your quadriceps and tighten up through your core. Close your eyes if you feel balanced. Inhale through your nose. Take a deep inhale. Hold it at the top. Extra sip of air. Let it go through your mouth. Close your lips. Find your ujjayi breathing. So inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Make that same ha sound, but with your lips closed. We'll take 3 breaths here. You can open your eyes if you'd like. Bring your left hand, reach it down towards your mat. Take your right hand on top of your head. Draw your right shoulder to your right ear. And then actively press down through your left fingertips, deepening the stretch in the left side of your neck. And then come back to center and switch it out. Reach your right fingertips down toward your mat. Take your left hand on top of your head. Press your ear toward your shoulder. And then again, really actively reach toward your mat to increase the stretch. And come back to center. Reach both hands down towards your mat. Just a slight jut of your chin forward, and then bring your chin toward your chest, but keep your shoulders over your hips, so don't roll your shoulders forward. And then start to gently rock your head side to side. If you want, you can take full neck rolls. I personally just prefer half. It's more comfortable for my neck. And come back towards center. Reach both arms up overhead. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, press your fists down, expand your chest, and then forward fold. Come into a chest expansion here. You can take a bend to your knees, resting your torso on your thighs. Start to press the palms of your hands towards one another. And then release your hands down, take opposite hand and opposite elbow, and then just start to rock side to side, maybe bending and straightening one leg at a time. Release your hands down toward your mat. Now roll your way back up to a stand, stacking one vertebra at a time, so slowly. And then return to a strong mountain pose. On your next breath in, reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale, come to a forward fold, hinging at your hips. Come all the way down. On your next breath in, lengthen your spine, come to monkey pose. Draw your shoulders away from your ears, and then forward fold. Plant your hands on your mat, step back to high plank pose, and then lower all the way down onto your belly. Nice and slow. Elbows draw in. Take the tops of your feet flat to the floor. Peel your chest up. Come into cobra pose. And then as you exhale, roll down. Tuck your toes under. Press up to high plank. You can always modify coming through tabletop instead. And then press back. Downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths in this downward facing dog. Movement or stillness, your choice. Look forward and make your way toward the front of your mat as you breathe in. And then exhale, take a deep forward bend over your legs. Inhale, rise up to tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. So this will be number 2. We're going to take 10 sun salutes. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to high plank pose. Exhale, lower chaturanga or to your belly, or you can modify with knees on the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths. And complete your exhale. Look forward, step or float to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Rise high, tall mountain. Forward fold. Monkey pose. And then step or float back, chaturanga. Breathe in to upward facing dog. Keep the back of your neck long and open. Breathe out to downward facing dog. One more full breath. Complete your exhale here. Inhale, step or float to the front of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Rise high to tall mountain as you breathe in. Swan dive to forward fold as you breathe out. Lengthen to monkey. Forward fold. Step or float back, high plank to chaturanga. Complete your exhale here. On your inhale, step or float to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Tall mountain. Forward fold. Monkey pose. Chaturanga. Facing dog, downward facing dog. Last breath here. Okay, so for these last 5, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. So on your next breath in, come to the front of your mat. And forward fold. Rise high, tall mountain. Forward fold. Monkey. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, and 1 breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come forward. Forward fold. Rise high, tall mountain. Forward fold. Monkey. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, 1 breath. Come forward. Forward fold. Tall mountain. Forward fold. Monkey. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come forward. Forward fold. Tall mountain. Forward fold. Monkey. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. One breath, and then the last one on your own. So complete your exhale here, and on your next inhale, come to the front of your mat. Hold downward facing dog for 3 more breaths. Lift your right leg off the floor. Step your right foot between your hands. Spin your back heel down. Warrior one. Shine your hips and your shoulders forward. Sink deeply into your front knee without peeling your back heel or the outer edge of your back foot off the floor. Complete your exhale. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Reach your arms off to the side. Start to hinge forward at your hips. Hold here. You can have a slight bend to your right leg or a big bend. That's fine too. Try to get your torso parallel toward the floor. Take 1 more breath in. And then exhale. Pyramid pose. Come all the way down. Hands to the floor or to 2 blocks. Draw your right hip back and your left hip forward. Once again, find a flat back. Lengthen through your spine, and then come into low lunge. So bend your front leg, peel your back heel off the floor, lengthen your stance if you need to. Keep your left hand down on the floor, lift your right arm up for twisting lunge. Draw your inner thighs towards one another, even though they're not touching. Keep your hips level. Place your right hand on the floor. Step back to high plank. And hold high plank here. You can take your knees down onto the floor to modify at any point if you need to. We're about halfway there. One more breath in. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Lift your left foot off the floor. Bring your left foot between your hands. Lower your back heel down onto your mat and reach your arms up overhead for warrior one. Shoulders and hips face toward the front of your mat. Reach actively through your fingertips, but don't hunch your shoulders by your ears. And then again, sink into your front knee without peeling your back heel or the outer edge of your back foot off the floor. Take 1 more breath in. Complete your exhale. Straighten through your front leg. Reach your arms off to the side, capital T. Start to hinge forward with a flat back. And again, if you need to, you can take a bend to your leg as much as you need to so that you're not overstretching your hamstring. We're building a little spinal strength here. Hold here for another inhale. And then as you exhale, pyramid pose, take your hands either to your shin, 2 blocks, or to the floor, depending on how open this hamstring is. Draw your left hip back and your right hip forward. And you can completely forward fold over your left leg if that's accessible to you. On your next breath in, lengthen through your spine again, flat back here, and then lunge into your front leg, peel your back heel off the floor, adjust your stance for low lunge. Keep your right hand on the floor or a block. Lift your left arm up for twisting lunge, hold. One more breath in. Bring your left hand down onto your mat, step your left foot back to high plank, and we're gonna hold it one more time for about 10 counts. We're about halfway there. Try to avoid your hips sagging down toward the floor. Tighten everything up around your core. For 3 and 2 and 1. Lower all the way down onto your mat this time. Feet to mat distance apart. Arms off to the side, palms face down. Lift everything off the floor. Keep your neck open in the back. Try to avoid flinging your chin up and back. So your gaze is slightly down and a little bit in front. Try to get your hands to the height of the top of your head. Press actively back through the balls of your feet. Okay, bring your hands below your shoulders, your legs to the floor, but keep your knees wide. Bring your toes together and press back, child's pose. Rest here for 3 breaths. And come back to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your right leg off the floor. Step your right foot between your hands. Back heel comes down to the floor again, but this time we're going to bring the left arm up and over and come into warrior 2. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Make sure that you can see your big toe when you look down. Draw your right knee actively toward your right pinky toe. And once again, press into the outer edge of your back foot. Straighten through your right leg. Start to reach toward the front of your mat. There's a big wind gust. And come into Trikonasana triangle pose. Right hand comes down toward your shin or your mat or a block. Left arm reaches up toward the ceiling. Keep your left shoulder and your left hip nice and open. Try to avoid hunching forward and slouching. Take one more breath in. Then bring your left hand down toward the floor and come into low lunge. So you're going to bring your left heel off the floor, bend your right leg, step back to high plank, and this time we're going to go right to Chaturanga, so lower halfway down. Upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg off the floor. Step your left foot between your hands. Right heel comes down toward the floor. And then right arm leads the way. Come into warrior 2. Hold warrior 2 for about 3 breaths. Begin to straighten your left leg. Keep your hips and your shoulders open and reach toward the front of your mat. Bring your left hand toward shin, block, or floor, and then your right arm up toward the sky or the ceiling. And again, keep your right shoulder and your right hip open so you can adjust your height as much as needed to keep that alignment in your spine and your torso. Take one more breath in, and then bring your right hand down, come into low lunge. So take your right heel off the floor, bend your left leg, step back to high plank, lower all the way down onto your belly. This time, keep your legs zipped up. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Lift everything off of your mat. Your chest, your legs, your toes. Don't forget to keep your neck long. Bring your hands below your shoulders, your knees wide, toes to touch. Child's pose for 3 breaths. Press back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg off the floor and place your right foot between your hands. This time, keep your heel lifted off the floor and come up to crescent lunge. So the wrists are going to go over your shoulders and your shoulders will go over your hips. Lunge deeply into your front leg, but don't let your knee go past your ankle. Take one more breath in. As you breathe out, step onto your right foot, sweep your arms back, come into airplane pose. You can have your leg bent or straight. Just keep your hips level and keep actively reaching back toward the back of your mat. Step your left foot lightly back down on your mat so you're in airplane lunge, torso at 45 degrees. Inhale, come up to crescent lunge. Exhale, come to warrior 2. So breath to movement here. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale to low lunge. Step back to high plank. Lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog on your breath in and downward facing dog on your breath out. Let's switch sides. Lift your left leg off your mat. Step your left foot between your hands. Come up to crescent lunge. Hold here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, step onto your left foot, sweep your arms back. Level your hips and shoulders so they're both squared to the floor. You have one long line from the crown of your head back through the ball of your foot. As you breathe out, step lightly back to airplane lunge. Torso comes to 45 degrees. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, tip back to reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Step back to high plank. We're going to take chaturanga again. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Look toward the front of your mat. Step or float your feet forward. Come into a deep forward fold. Now sit your hips low, lift your arms high. For Utkatasana, chair pose, bring your weight back into your heels, wiggle your toes and make sure that you can see your toes coming out in front of your knees. From here, place your hands on the floor, lift your knees to the backs of your arms, and try crow pose if you'd like. Set your feet back down on the floor. Reach your arms up for chair pose. Sweep your arms back, lift your heels up for drinking bird or balanced chair. Place your heels down on the floor. Come up to tall mountain, so sweep your arms up. Straighten your legs. And forward fold. Monkey pose, inhale. And Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog. Make your way to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bring your right knee to your right elbow. Lift your right leg up. Bring your right knee to your left elbow. Now bring your right knee to your right elbow and your right toes toward your left elbow and set your shin down on the floor for pigeon, half pigeon. Lengthen through your spine, lower down. Rest your forehead on your hands or your fists or the floor or a block. One more breath in this half pigeon. Come up onto your hands. You're going to sweep your left leg around and plant your foot to the outside of your right knee. Make sure your sitting bones are grounded down on the floor. Sit up tall. Lift your right arm up and then hook your elbow to the outside of your knee. Hold here for 3 breaths in half Lord of the Fishes twist. Unwind from your twist. Lift both feet off the floor for boat pose, Navasana. Okay, take a gentle grip to the back of your knees, roll back, cross your ankles, and then come through to Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog. Let's do our little bit of core work on this side. So lift your left leg high, bring your left knee toward your left elbow. Lift your left leg high, bring your left knee to your right elbow. Bring your left knee to your left elbow. Bring your left toes to your right elbow. Set your shin down on the floor. Lengthen your spine, preparing for half pigeon. And then lower down, hands to your fists, forehead to your fists, your hands block or the floor. Come back up onto your hands. Take your right leg and just swing it around. Stamp your right foot to the outside of your left knee. Right hand behind your right hip. Lift your left arm up. Hook your elbow to the outside of your knee. Try to keep your shoulders stacked over your hips as you twist and look over your right shoulder. Hold half Lord of the Fishes for 3 big breaths. Unwind from your twist. Lift both legs up off the floor. Take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes. Keep your chest lifted, hold here, or option for upward angle, you can extend your legs open. Continue to draw your shoulders down away from your ears and press your chest forward, using your core to hold you in your balance. It's okay if your legs are bent. If you start to straighten them, keep your quadriceps, the fronts of your legs, engaged. Bring your legs back together. Hold high boat. Roll back, and same thing. Cross your ankles. Come all the way through, plant your hands. Hop back to Chaturanga. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg off the mat. Step your right foot between your hands. Make your way to standing staff pose. Step onto your right foot. Lift your left leg up and through. And then bring your left foot to your right inner thigh. Bring your hands to your heart for tree pose, or reach your arms up overhead, palms face out. You can experiment with your tree pose with any arm variation. If you'd like to play with your balance, you can start to kind of sway your tree. I guess that would be appropriate for me in this case since it's so windy. Bring your left foot to meet your right and switch sides. Come through to one more vinyasa. So lift your arms up, then make your way to forward fold. Last chaturanga of class, if you'd like to take it. So halfway lift monkey, and then chaturanga. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Step your left foot between your hands. Make your way to standing staff. Right foot comes through. Arms extend up. Bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. Same thing on this side. Any arm variation is welcome. If right foot doesn't stay on left inner thigh, you can always come to calf or ankle. Just avoid your knee. Release, bring your right foot to meet your left. Now take your feet out to mat distance apart. Take them out at a slight angle. Bring your hands to your heart and come down into Malasana. This pose is really good for opening the hips and is really good for your low back. So hold Malasana here, drawing your shoulders away from your ears, maybe closing your eyes. Bring your hands behind your hips and come down into a seat. Extend your legs long on your mat. Reach your arms up overhead and then forward fold over your legs. Keep your legs active and engaged as you reach your forehead towards your toes. Release from your fold, bend both legs. Make your way down onto your back. Bring your legs to a 90-degree angle off of your mat. Arms to goalpost and release your knees to the right. And gaze to the left. You can take your right hand on top of your left knee. Press your left shoulder down toward your mat. Come back towards center. Release your knees toward the left. Maybe take your left hand to your right knee and then look to the right. Press your right shoulder actively down towards your mat. See if you can get it onto your mat. Hold here. Come back to center. Hug both knees into your chest. And then extend your legs long on your mat. Arms rest alongside your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. Let it go through your mouth. Close your lips. Start to breathe softly and naturally. Take a moment to thank yourself for making your way onto your yoga mat this morning, starting your day in such a positive and energizing way. Please stay in your Shavasana as long as you have time for, maybe at least 3 minutes to 5 or 7 if you can. Today as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. From my heart to yours, namaste.